Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Unavoidable Adventures in Aging, where Sue and Shan, two Midwest, well past middle-aged sisters, discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of aging. With a little humor, a little heart, and occasionally a little frustration, we'll explore the unavoidable adventures we experience as we move into our golden years. Yeah, golden years, my ass. Just a note to our listeners, this podcast reflects the opinions and experiences of Sue and Shan. The main purpose of this podcast is intended to entertain.
Okay, it is Friday and we're going now.
Now, today we're going to revisit a couple different ones. I think last week we alluded to the fact that I had this terrible return trip from Vegas. So it'll be a continuation of traveling as you get older. I think you called that one trains, planes, automobiles.
Oh, and automobiles. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
that one. Then I want to talk a little bit too about, again, the strange things our body does or says to us, and AI.
And okay, we're going to hit just all sorts of stuff.
I think so too, because all three of those things I had some experience with when I was gone.
And of course, with your travel,
yes,
you and Shelli drove from here to Las Vegas because she had driven out a couple weeks prior to it. So the first part's driving, and then the second part you flew back into Alliance.
Yes, so
kind of.
And yeah, it only took almost 24 hours.
At least.
Full 24, seems like it.
Yeah.
But anyway, going out, and bless Shan and Shelli, they both know how much I hate driving. Now, when it's just me, like when I'm going to the farm, I don't mind that highway driving. I know the route, I'm comfortable, but I don't have to go through any major cities.
And no interstate way.
I don't like the interstate anymore.
And there's a Runza halfway there.
That's true. Oh, yeah. I always forget about that part. And that's where you guys are going to be stopping when you go get the kids, right?
Yep, we are. Broken Bow.
Broken Bow. Yeah. So anyway, driving out, and it took a day and a half. We spent the night at this little town in Utah. But going out, we went through, it's springtime in Nebraska.
It is really.
When we hit those windy, really big windy days. And then we hit the rain, and yeah.
Then you had snow.
And we had snow.
Yes.
But we were on the interstate going through Wyoming, and anybody who's ever been through Wyoming, you know that it's flat, at least where we were driving. I know it has some other areas that are pretty, but the wind was so bad. And there were signs along the interstate the whole way. What are they called? High profile vehicles. Yes. Yeah. They were suggesting that those get off the road.
It was just a suggestion, wasn't it?
Just a suggestion because there were so many that did not. Yeah. And like you pointed out to me, this vehicle that Shelli drives is really used to being high profile. Yeah. So we were just cussing these trucks the whole time.
And then the little cars were cussing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why isn't she pulling off? She's a high-profile vehicle.
Yeah. They're and you're really kind of worried about every time you have to pass a semi or they pass you, are you going to be blown into them or are they going to be blown into you? And we did see one that had blown over in the median. And, of course, whatever they were carrying was all over the place.
And if people haven't ever seen it or been in Nebraska, Wyoming, it's hard to imagine that a wind would do that.
Yes.
But it is such a strong wind that, it just hits the side of those semis and just carries it right on over. And they'll be sitting there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it comes in gusts.
It does.
It's just not a steady wind.
So you're not quite ready, and then all of a sudden it hits.
There it is. Yeah. So that first day we drove through, rain and snow and wind and
And we're recording at the end of May. I just want everybody to know.
yes, that's right. That's right. But anyway, we drove through that and we got to this really cute town in Utah and spent the night there. And the next day was pretty okay, except her, what's that called? GPS?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, there's our AI again.
There's AI.
They usually take her through.
It's through Park City.
Yes.
You stay on the south side of Salt Lake. You don't go in there.
Yeah. And for some reason, we got off track and we ended up going through Salt Lake.
Ugh.
It took us, oh, excuse me. It took us a full hour, bumper to bumper, to get from one edge of Salt Lake to the other. It wasn't accidents or anything. It was just traffic.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah. So that was going out in the car. And then really when I was there, it's one of those perks to being older. We had all this loading and unloading to do.
Oh, yes.
Because when Shelli comes here, it's usually to pick up a load of her collectible vintage things to take back to Vegas and put in their shop. So we had a lot of loading and unloading to do. And thank goodness both of her kids were there, Reed and George. Thank you very much. And I tried to do a couple, and Shelli and Reed, oh, Sue, just sit down. Just sit down. We've got this. Okay. Oh, thank you. But
How hot was it?
it wasn't
Oh, okay.
as bad as you would think.
Okay.
There were a couple days that were like upper 90s, but it wasn't that step out the door, take
And-
your breath away
yeah.
heat
Yeah.
that slams you
Well,
in the
that
face.
helps.
That helped a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the perks to getting older is people just don't expect you to help that much. And
To do as much. Huh?
yeah. So I did what I could. But anyway. Okay, so then we come here. I'm talking the whole time for this one.
Hey,
but-
you just keep on going. You're talking, I'm drinking. It's
yeah.
a great afternoon.
Oh, Shan made these peach
Yeah.
mango.
Something with vodka.
Yeah.
We were
yeah.
going to do tequila, and the tequila, we didn't like the branded tequila I bought.
I've never tasted such
It was
yucky
terrible.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And it
kids, when you
wasn't
come
cheap.
this summer, you're
Yeah.
good. No, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So kids, you got to drink it when you come. But,
That's
So
right.
we went to vodka because I had vodka.
Yes, and this one's really good. It's very peachy, very refreshing. Okay, so on to my saga of my trip home. I flew out of Las Vegas and then to Denver, and then from Denver, we can fly right into Alliance.
Right.
It's a little, 10, 12-seater?
Yeah.
It's the
I'd say-
funniest thing you've ever seen. There's a center aisle, and then you do a little step up, and there's a seat, and then the one right behind behind where there should be one, they took that one out, and then there's another one behind that. So there's one seat on each side, every other space.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so very
Yeah, it's different.
yeah. Flying into Denver. Denver had some really bad weather on Monday, Memorial Day. Yes. So they were backed up like crazy. So sitting in the airport in Las Vegas, first we're delayed twice. And I've got this connection to make once I get
Right.
into Denver. So we're delayed twice. They finally load us on the airplane. They taxi us on out to the runway. We're in line to take off. And the pilot says, oh, Denver's not accepting any flights that aren't already in the air.
Oh, my gosh.
He said, we're probably going to be here for about an hour.
Oh, jeez.
Sitting there. They couldn't take us back.
Oh,
you
my
can't
gosh.
get off.
You're out on the tarmac.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And away from the airport.
Yeah.
We've taxied. And it was nice though that this whole flight, I didn't hear a lot of grumbling and
good.
yelling. And
Yeah.
so I think people were, what are you going to do?
You really can't, folks. So don't be belligerent because it doesn't get you there any faster.
That's right. Doesn't do a darn bit of good.
It just raises your blood pressure.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
give it up.
So after we sat there about an hour, he comes on again and says, oh, sorry, it's probably going to be about another hour.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
we're just sitting out there for 2 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
He finally gets back on and says, even if they'd let us take off now, we don't have enough fuel to get to Denver.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, good call there.
Good call.
Mr. Pilot.
Oh,
So
dear.
we go back and they unload us.
Thank goodness, because you know what? Right away when you said 2 hours out there, I have to pee.
I know.
I
Yeah.
have got to pee.
And
there are no bathrooms on these little puddle
well,
jumpers.
yeah, that was the one, though, going from Denver. I'm still on the one coming from Vegas.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So you did have a bathroom, but I don't think they let you use it.
Yeah, they did. There were. I
good.
didn't have to, but there were people
good.
using it, and they came
Oh.
up and down the aisle. They were so apologetic and handing out waters and there's super snacks. There's some kind of pretzel. I don't know what it was, but
all three of them
yeah,
in that little.
Yeah. Okay. So they unload us. They line us up again. I was in the wrong line for I don't know how long, and they get us back on the plane. Finally, get us to Denver. I'm worried about making this connection because I've pretty much missed it. But either you or Shelli had
Shelli
gone.
was
Yeah.
seeing that they were running late with that one too.
Yes.
So we had hopes.
Had hopes. And so I got down to where this little airplane takes off, and they had delayed it, but according to them at that time when I showed up, they were still going to take off.
Okay.
Sat there for about half an hour or so,
Jeez.
and they said, "Oh, sorry, the delay has been overnighted," which means that it wasn't going out until the next day.
Next morning.
And a lot of people, they gave them the list. They didn't give any vouchers or anything.
They didn't give any
Did not.
vouchers?
To spend the night anywhere.
I have heard that what the airports are doing now, or the airlines, I'm not sure who's responsible, but they just say it's been delayed. If you say it's been canceled, then you got to take care of your people that were supposed to get on it. So now they just say it's delayed.
Okay, but it's an overnight delay.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I thought, it's already like 11 o'clock at night. We were supposed to be taking off at 8 the next morning, so I would have had to be back by 6. And I was just so tired of the crowds and the lines and the hassle.
Yeah.
So I asked this young lady, I said, "Are they okay with people spending the night in the airport?" "Oh, yeah, people do it all the time." She said, "Go up to the next level. It's really more, it's well lit. There are more people up there."
Oh,
and
gotcha.
so forth. Because I said, "Is it safe?" And she said, "Yeah, there's plenty of people walking around." And airports at night are really strange because they empty out.
Yeah.
There were probably, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 of us, at least in that one section I was, trying to find a place to at least get your feet up. Oh, impossible. God. Impossible. But it gets very quiet. The people who work there, who have been working the courtesy counter and all, they are stressed. So they're goofing around and yelling back. So it's really fun. And that's when they do all the cleaning. And so anyway, so that was a first for me. Never spent the night in an airport
Yeah, we've done
before.
that once.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so then the next morning, we were supposed to take off at 8. I think it was probably 9 before we took off.
It was, yeah.
And woke up to Denver, was completely socked in.
Yeah, because then you were worried they weren't going to go.
Yes. Yeah. With fog. It was bad. But anyway, so got on the plane. Go ahead.
I just want everybody to know, I offered to get Sue a motel.
Yes, you did.
And
you did.
Tim and I talked about calling Shan and have him come pick you up. Again, when you talk about being there at 6, you'd have to leave Shan's at 5 in the morning. So by the time he would pick you up, and it wasn't going to be much time in between there even. But then you said, "I'm tired of messing with it. I'm just going to go cozy up somewhere."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that was, And two, I forgot to mention, there was this really nice couple who, I think they were from Fort Collins. And they offered had a car. They were going to drive back to Fort Collins. And they said, "Why don't you just come home with us? You can fly out of Fort Collins, blah, blah." But anyway, still.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very nice.
Yes.
So there still are those people out there. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So got here about, 10, 11?
Yeah. Probably
I think
close
it was,
to 11.
Yeah. And Shan picked me up, and I was my brain was just fried.
You went home.
I fell asleep at 11:30 that morning. Monday morning. No, Tuesday.
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, about 11:30. I slept through the afternoon, through the evening, through the night, and didn't wake up until 7 o'clock the next morning.
Oh, my gosh.
Close to 20 hours. I slept solid.
Wow.
Which is another thing that your body does. It takes forever to recoup from those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not college kids anymore.
No, because we used to do that just for fun sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But we'd get up and go to class, unless it was an 8 o'clock class.
Some of us did. Yeah.
And I skipped all those anyway, the 8 o'clock classes. I don't know why I ever scheduled them. But yeah, so that was my trip. And then even the next night, I slept for close to 10 hours.
That's what you said.
So it was like 30 hours it took me before my brain was clear.
Yeah.
Because I just had this fuzzy feeling. So
Isn't that something?
yeah.
Jeez.
But I'm home. And
Yay.
long story. Hope I didn't. Everybody says I'm never flying again.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I
There's
will,
something
but-
to think about. There
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Anymore with flying. And you and I talked about that. Are we on our topic yet? I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, go with what we talked
you
about.
and I have talked about. I can count like 12, 15 different people in the last 2 months that have flown different parts of the United States, 2 different parts of the United States. One was also international. Every single one of them had a delayed flight along the way.
Yes.
And some then it messed up their connecting flights, which that's aggravating.
Yeah.
But every one of them
Yeah.
had problems.
And when you first mentioned that, I thought it's just Alliance. Getting back to Alliance is difficult.
No.
But they're just 2 little flights. One goes into Scottsbluff, one comes here. But you were saying it's everybody.
It's everywhere.
At whatever airport, airline.
It was. Yeah. Yeah.
And,
And several different states
yes.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Even for Reed, because she drove out here with her mom, and then she flew back, and we took her to Scottsbluff. That plane didn't go that night.
That's right.
Shelli and I had to turn back around and go get her.
Yeah.
And that plane out of Scottsbluff, and again, that one is a regular flight. It's not as small as what comes into
Right.
Alliance, but it had not flown for 3 nights in a row. They had not left the airport in the night.
Golly.
Yeah.
Because of mechanical
Whatever they
problems,
said.
weather,
Yeah, I don't know.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Because then when we went back to get Reed, there were 1, 2, 3 different groups of people that were renting a car and were going to drive to Denver so that they could make their connecting flights because it was like the beginning of their vacations.
Yes.
And you think, oh, how horrible is that?
Yeah.
That you'd get stuck like that.
Yep, off the bat.
Yeah.
It sure sets the tone for the rest of the
It
vacation.
does. Reed had quite a few offers to ride with people,
Yeah.
but she had already missed her connecting flight to
Right.
Vegas, so there was really no reason to
Yeah.
even
For her
do
to
it.
go. Yeah. Yeah. And how and even the next day, they kept announcing
Oh, yeah.
into the evening. And then again, they started announcing the next morning, don't trust the boards. When you go into the airport and you check to see arrivals, departures, blah, blah, blah. They said those are all incorrect.
Okay, that's the first that I have ever heard of that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's delayed or it's rescheduled, whatever. You always can get your information from a board.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that.
I know. And it was a mess. Cancel, delay, cancel.
Jeez.
And then you think, because every cancellation or delay affects the next flight and the flight after that.
Right.
And
And then Denver affects every other airport
Yes.
in the United States.
Yep.
Just like all the rest of them affect each other. Yeah. Boy, this is good news, Sue, going into this will air in June.
Yes.
As people are starting their vacations.
Oh, yeah, I know. Sorry. And
But
I think what I would say to that is be prepared.
Be prepared.
And stay calm.
Yeah.
There's not a thing you can do about it. It's no use yelling at those poor attendants. They have nothing to do with it.
They can't do anything.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
And even the higher up you go, even the air traffic controllers,
No.
it's just what happens.
Yeah. And you hate to say this, but it's almost like you better start if you're trying to get someplace on a certain date. I'm going to highly suggest you start a day before because you may
Yep.
not make it.
And give yourself plenty of time for layovers.
Yep.
I know some people do maybe an hour or less layover. I'm past running to
Exactly.
the next gate.
Yes.
I will not do
Do
that.
it. Of course, and really a lot of times does it even matter?
No,
Because like you said, you actually had quite a bit of time
I did.
to catch that next flight. It didn't matter.
And they canceled it anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about Chat GPT on your way
Oh,
out.
we had such a good time with old Shelli.
And you have a new name. Don't
we
forget
called
that.
him
Chet.
on the way out.
I love it.
Yeah. So Shelli drove the whole way. And I think she knew ahead of time.
She did know. She did know. She just wanted somebody to visit with and
keep her awake.
And it's always those facts, too, of, okay, so we're going to stop here. Does it look okay? To have somebody else that says, oh, yeah, this is fine. Just that voice of
that second person.
Reason.
And you have your best conversations on those those rides. Yeah.
She is fun to travel with.
She is.
Because she's so easy to converse with.
She is. And we listened to part of a book, and I think that's when I took a little bit of a nap. But no, we talked the whole time.
I love it.
But we'd be going through Salt Lake City. We were going through Salt Lake City, and over on the side there was this huge arena, like a sports arena, and no idea what it was. So I put into my little chat, and I said, "What is the building?" And we could see the name of it, but we didn't know what it was for.
Okay, so you could put the name in.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
What is this building? And I put the name of it in Salt Lake City, and it was their new soccer arena. So little things like that. Trying to figure out, as we do, movies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now who was that starred in that movie? Yeah, they were also in blah, 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 and blah, blah. So I'd start with that. I'd put in the movie that we knew, and they'd give a name. And it was like, yeah, I think that's who it was. So we did a lot of that.
And you said a few times you even had to say, this guy was in a movie with so-and-so.
Yeah.
And then that would come up.
And it would. And, of course, then you get that, oh, yeah, now I remember. So then we're thinking of all these movies that we wanted to remember to watch. Again, we didn't write them down, and we probably should have. But anyway. And then the other cool thing that I thought it was pretty cool was we were talking about a friend of hers.
Okay.
And how this friend really didn't want any information about them out there.
Oh, yeah.
So they wouldn't do a lot of different, they thought it was keeping everything.
That if they didn't have Facebook and they didn't have, they didn't buy anything online. And
Yeah. I put this person's name in. Oh, yeah, so-and-so lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and they do this and they do that and blah, blah, blah. It had so much information on that person. And I put Shelli in, too. And it was paragraphs on Shelli. She's done so much work with JDRF. It's called something different now. I can't remember.
No, so juvenile diabetes is now type 1 diabetes, but so I can't remember the organization's name for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be texting us sometime to let us know. But anyway, so I put her name in, and it came out with all of this stuff about what an amazing volunteer she was, and all the committees that she'd chaired, and the difference that she'd made on this committee, and blah. I said, Shelli, if you ever want to make a new resume, it's right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we don't have to necessarily remember because we'll ask Chet.
That's right.
And he'll tell us what we need to put down.
Yeah. Except that when I put my name in, nothing comes up. So I guess I haven't done that much, or I don't know. But the other cool thing was we were in this restaurant. It's a really good restaurant. It's called Lazy Dog. And they have an interesting menu. It's not just hamburgers and steaks and stuff. But I ordered their Brussels sprouts as my entree. And they were so good. And so I just went to Chet and I said, do you have a recipe for the Brussels sprouts at Lazy Dog Restaurant? Boom, there it is.
Oh, yes.
So now we can try that sometime. But
think about Mom.
Yes.
Mom would eat something someplace.
Yes.
Remember?
Uh-huh.
So she would have gone to Lazy Dog and loved their Brussels sprouts. She would have continued to make those until she got really close to what the recipe is.
Yes, true.
So now she could have saved a lot of money because she could have just asked Chet. And
So
found the recipe and she could have tweaked it. And one time she had it.
There it is.
I know. I'm going to have those. I am going to have.
I will get you the recipe because I bought the stuff. I just haven't tried them yet.
Oh, have you? You bought it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good.
Yeah. See, how long do Brussels sprouts last in the fridge before they go bad?
Forever. When you think about a Brussels sprout,
true.
Do they ever go bad?
They may not.
Like cabbage?
Yeah,
They're the same
true.
family?
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's something else you can do with your chat GPT.
There you go.
And yes, I know you can do that stuff on Google, but this just does it quickly and narrows it down faster.
It does. And I know that people are afraid of AI. And there's times I'm a little afraid of Chet because he is good. But the whole thing behind him or her is that they search all the different sites and compile it into one answer.
Yes.
And it does save a lot of time, and it gets you almost exactly what you want.
It does.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, once it pops your answer up there, all these little tiny icons are across the top of your answer. And I think those represent all the different places.
It is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. And it has links. So you may
True.
find a link and you're thinking, oh, okay, that makes sense, but I want more info. You can click on it and it goes to it.
It'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chet, and I told you the other day, that our sister-in-law, Barb,
Yes.
sent me a message, and I got her hooked up on Chat GPT or Chet, and she couldn't talk to it anymore. It wasn't hearing her voice, and she didn't want to have to type it out. So we went back and forth, and then at one point she said, I got to go feed the goats. And so I thought, I'm going to ask Chet why her, Chet, isn't allowing her to talk anymore. So I sent that to her, the answer, because you can also share your answers. I don't know if you know that, but whatever the answers are, you can share that with somebody.
Yeah.
So I shared it with her, and I got a text back a little bit later, and she said, too tired to read it, but I'll do it tomorrow. And I haven't heard from her, so maybe she has a
Maybe it worked.
talkative Chet again.
Yeah, that could be. Yep. And one thing that we didn't mention, that the next time, after the first time I used Chet, I thought, now, how do I go back and look at the answers that they gave me already? And if you go to, let me bring it up here, Mr. Chat or Ms. Chat. Right at the very top of the page, there's like a little longer line and then a shorter line.
That's a hamburger.
That's
Sean
a hamburger.
calls that one a hamburger.
Right. So you click on the hamburger lines and everything that you've asked
comes up.
And then you can go through and delete the stuff that you really
that you
don't want
need
anymore.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still there. That was ideal.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, because sometimes you'll ask it a question, but you're often doing something else. And then before too long, you've asked it another question. And then you think, oh, wait, I thought I asked him blah, blah, blah. It's still there.
Yeah.
So you just have to click it.
And sometimes, too, just when you want to clarify something that you've typed in, you don't have to type a whole other question. You just type like another name or something. And
Right,
it just
because
adds
ask
on.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to look into?
Yeah. I was looking at this and remember when we were talking about, it was the one with you and Shelli and we talked about the playground game Spud? Yes. So we looked up the rules to that because we couldn't quite remember. So now we've got the rules to Spud if we want to play that. And then looks like we got into the whole conversation about the England, UK, and Great Britain. Are those all three the same thing?
Okay.
So I can't remember all of it, but
interesting.
One of them, like England, I think is just a country within the UK, and then Great Britain. I don't know. Anyway, basically they're all the same.
I better chat it before too long.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is just
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh.
There
Some of these, I don't know.
She's reading all of it, folks. Sorry.
Sorry, next time.
I've lost her.
Yep.
I've lost her because she's looking at her Chet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the other thing?
You said three?
Oh, three things. The other thing was just let me hear your body talk stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let me hear
again.
Yes.
And
you talked about one, which was sleeping.
yes.
And how because you lost a little over 24 hours of sleep,
yes.
it took you 30 hours
To
in
recoup.
2 days.
Yes.
Also 2 days just to get back to halfway normal.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing for as we get older. We don't recoup as quickly.
We don't. There's no bounce back. There's a lot of jiggle, but there's no bounce back.
There's a lot of bouncing, but not where you want it to be.
That's right.
So
and just how little it takes anymore to wear you out.
oh, yes.
When I talked about them moving the boxes and this and that or unpacking boxes, we all used to be able to do any of that
it.
stuff for hours.
Yeah.
now, boy, am I a whiner tonight or what? Poor me. But it doesn't seem to take anything at all for you to get your back is hurting or your legs hurt or your feet hurt
Yes.
and it just, and it's that aggravation this is one thing that Shelli and I talked about. The anger we feel
Yes.
with growing older.
Yes.
Knowing what we used to be able to do and we can't
Yes.
anymore. No matter how much we want to, we can't. And it pisses us off.
It does. Oh, I mean, I'm there.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mine is, we'll see. You know what? I was going to say it seems petty. You know what? They all are. I look at it and I feel like I'm petty because I can't do something I used to do.
Yeah.
But it isn't petty.
No.
It's big
to us.
To
it
us.
is.
Yes.
To anybody feeling these things.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll recoup it, but the rate I used to walk, I am like a minute to a minute and a half slower right now than I was a year ago at this time with how far I can go with what used to be my fast walk.
Yeah.
And that it pisses me off.
It does. And you think, I just need to push myself more.
Yeah.
I'm not in shape. I need to do it more. I need to do it faster.
Well,
I need
that's
to
true,
whatever.
though. Yeah.
But has our body reached some limitations that we can't anymore?
I know. And also in that same respect, everybody's limitations will happen at a different time.
Yes.
The distance I can walk, the distance you can walk could be at a different age, but unfortunately we hit it. Yeah.
It'll happen. And I think of Leslie all the time. But she has kept up
Yes.
with all of it. Always.
Yes.
She exercises, she swims, she dances, she hikes. So she's always doing it. So I don't know, Leslie, are you feeling it at all? Let us know, Leslie, because she sure seems to have the same level of energy.
It's also because somebody who sits a lot
You're
has a lot further to go
True.
than Leslie, who maybe has sat for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
It won't take her much to get back into the swing of things. But if you want to be at that same level, it's going to take you a heck of a lot longer.
I see. Yep. I can see that. I can see
You're
that.
right. We are whining.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. What are some
Travel woes.
travel woes? But the good part of the travel was I got to spend a lot of time with Scotty, my son, and Eli, my grandson.
Yes.
And I think we had a good time. My grandson, you guys, is a hoot. He is so funny. And so it's refreshing to do that.
Yes.
And when you don't see him for a long time, and it took him a little while to warm up, but once he did, we were fine. We were back to when he was 3 and we used to run up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Eli, if you're listening, I don't know if you are, clean your room and do your homework. Yeah. Those were the 2 things we talked about a lot when I was there.
And that's what grandmas get to do.
I know.
It's a little, hopefully he'll listen to you.
Yes.
He sees his dad all the time.
Yeah.
So probably doesn't listen to Dad near as much, but maybe he'll listen to Grammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'd do this thing. Shelli would say some naggy thing, and I'd say a naggy thing, and Eli'd do this thing with his hand, the talking hands.
Wah, wah,
Wah,
yeah.
wah, wah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. But that part we really did have a good time.
Yeah. Good.
So it wasn't all woeful.
It wasn't all woe.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? We were going to talk about, you had 3 things on your list, didn't you?
Yeah. The travel itself, the AI, and the body talk.
Oh,
And
yeah. We
talked
summed
about
that up, didn't
some.
we?
Yeah.
As we talk about both body talk and travel woes, I just want to say, for all of us, it is for everybody, but as we get older, keep your phone charger with you at all times. And do your best to keep your phone charged at all times.
Yes.
If your phone's about 50%, you think, oh, not a big deal, but you're where there's plugs, plug that sucker
Yes.
in. Because right now, of all the things you need, it's the phone fully charged.
And that was a lifeline.
Oh,
Talking
it was.
to you and
Yes.
Shelli, and the airlines were saying, the boards are wrong. Check the website, the airline's website. They will have the correct information.
So you could go on and you could find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were constantly sending messages. I
Yeah,
was thankful
texting,
for
yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So probably those are my number one things, but I'm also going to add to we older people. You're going to have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to possibly, if you're going to an event that is so important, I'm going to suggest if you can afford it, you better go a day or two early.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to miss it because the plane was delayed and you couldn't get a connection, or it was delayed and you couldn't get to it. So whenever possible. Coming home, not quite as big of a deal now that we're retired.
Yeah.
But I can remember several times having to call my principal to say, okay, we're stuck in
Denver,
usually
probably.
Wyoming. Remember when we used to
driving?
drive
Yes.
out?
Yikes.
To Park City. I remember one principal saying, Shan, your husband has an implement dealership. Get a tractor and get over here. So plan ahead. The other thing, too, keep snacks with you.
Yes.
And water.
And water.
Or liquid.
Definitely water.
It's just smart because I was so happy because when you and I talked that night and you knew you weren't going to get your connecting and you were just going to stay in the airport, I was so afraid everything was going to be closed.
Yeah.
I was so happy you found some place that was still open that you could get your dinner.
Yeah, and that was another first. I had my first
Mash burger. Was it worth
$20 or what? No.
Probably not.
I didn't think it was all that great.
Yeah.
And it was a hamburger.
It's the hype.
Yeah.
So, make sure you keep those snacks.
Yeah.
So that if you didn't, because I'm sure you went early enough that day, you didn't have lunch. And so then you get on the plane, and of course you're doing all of that. Then you get to Denver, you haven't had lunch, and it's way past supper. Make sure you get some, or make sure you have snacks.
Snacks.
Some vending machines anymore, you can use your debit card or your credit card.
Yeah, they had those. Some.
Yeah.
So but too, it's just so darn expensive.
It is.
I got just the kind of the bag that you might get at the gas station on a road trip of Chex Mix, $9.
Oh my gosh!
And then Coke for $5.
Oh my gosh!
Just a plastic bottle of Coke.
Oh my gosh!
$15.
$15.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And as long as the bag is not opened, you can take it through. You can't take liquids.
No.
But you can take...
This I got in Denver.
Right.
I mean,
when you were in there.
Vegas when I was waiting for the Denver.
And a lot of times, and we've done this a couple times, as long as if you have a reusable cup, jug, bottle thing. So it has to be empty when you go through the check-in. But then there's a lot of water filling stations. Yes. You can go ahead and get your water bottle filled up.
Yeah.
Maybe even that should be on your list. Keep a container of some kind with you. The other thing I was thinking of, if you have a small pillow of any kind, because you said you were trying to wad up your backpack or something to use for your head.
Yeah.
And I know we don't like having to carry everything but the kitchen sink kind of thing, but some of those things, you can squish them down really well.
Yeah. And I heard an announcement this time that I've never heard before. On Southwest, they have 3 boarding groups, A, B, and C, okay? This announcement comes on, and I heard it for a couple of the different gates going to different places. Okay, this is a completely full flight. Everything will be full. If you are in boarding group C, please bring your bags to the desk, and we will, what's that called, ground check or whatever, because there won't be room for yours.
It used to be a volunteer thing.
Yes.
They would say it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're just out of luck.
And that wouldn't have worked for me at all, because then you have to go all the way out.
No.
If I went into
usually
Denver,
you can take it right to the little kiosk or where they're standing.
Yeah, but don't they go ahead and check it through to baggage claim? They don't.
What they do is after the people load the luggage on, they just come up that flight of stairs, and all those bags are sitting right there. They grab all of them, they put them underneath.
Okay.
And then when you land, they pick those up, and they put them right back in the same spot. So when you come off the plane, it's sitting right there.
See, and that's what I thought, but I don't remember seeing a bunch of them when I came
sitting
off.
there, and it could be.
But then I was brain dead, so what do I know?
That's going to be, oh gosh,
Wouldn't that be awful? Because we know at Denver it can take more than 2 hours to get through TSA. And I think they've got a lot of different changes, and I don't know.
I don't either.
It's just getting more and more difficult. Oh, here I go, just whining again.
Yeah, be prepared.
That was a big question I was going to ask. Is there a difference between venting and bitching?
Yes.
Okay.
There is. So
Okay.
and I won't go into the high school thing and
okay.
working with a young lady. So I believe there is. I think that venting, what did they call that? When you'd debrief.
Oh,
To me, venting and debriefing can be the same thing.
okay.
You've had a really horrific meeting with 5 or 6 different people, and you come out, and whoever your co-leader is, you're going to debrief. You're going to vent a little bit.
Okay.
You're going to say, gosh, I wish it would have gone a little bit better. I wish
Yeah.
we would have
Okay.
done whatever. And you act upon it. Okay? So you're going to change it next time when you get together. Bitching, to me, is that you do it, and 15, 20 minutes later, a day later, you say the exact same things, bitch it again.
Okay.
And you could end up doing it 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
But you know what? You've killed the goose there,
Yeah.
so just
Yeah.
cook it and eat it or whatever. I don't know. I came up with that one myself. But
That was a good one.
yeah, so to me, venting and debriefing are the same. And debriefing was a big thing, like when I was doing mediation. Then your co-mediator, you would come out and you would debrief. Because the thing was, then you weren't as likely to take that home with you.
Oh, okay.
When you debrief, when you
Yeah.
vent, then you're going to get that off
Yeah.
your chest and hopefully be able to sleep.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Well-
you're not really, you're just talking about
Okay.
the woes of travel and age and
Right.
travel. Because travel's tough right now.
It is. But then considering this is probably the second and maybe third time you've heard it.
I know,
from me.
but we decided we were going to do this podcast
That's
about
true, after
travel
I'd already-
woes. Woes and foes and
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
And fairy tales. Ooh.
Yeah.
Woes and foes, fairy tales. Ice cream something in the air.
Yeah. Okay.
Whew, okay, there we go.
All right. Are we about
We hope so.
vented out here?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
But
Very
my
good.
takeaway,
Yeah,
because you're going to ask that next, weren't you?
I am. Yeah.
Good. My takeaway is plan ahead, and you can never have too many snacks.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And take them yourself because they're too expensive to buy at the airport. Yeah. And I suppose my takeaway would be just it's frustrating. It's anger. It makes you angry. But don't take it out on anybody else because
Right.
they're feeling the same thing you are. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it.
Absolutely.
Or you.
Yeah.
So just,
Now, I got to tell you, Sue, you were worried that you were bitching. I could not believe when I called you that night and you decided you were going to stay in the airport that night. You were very upbeat and
Yeah,
happy.
well-
And I hang up, and Tim and I kind of look at each other, and we're like,
is she drunk?
Yeah,
What's going
is she
on?
drunk? She got drugs, didn't she? But then even when I picked you up, 24 hours later, after
Yeah.
you finally getting out of an airport, you were still pretty upbeat. You looked tired.
Oh, yeah.
But you were upbeat.
Yeah,
It was
well-
like, yeah, it was what it was. And
Yeah. One
yeah.
more adventure.
You were good.
Adventures in aging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Unavoidable,
guess.
too.
Unavoidable.
Okay, so everybody, we upload to Podbean. That's our platform, but you can find us in many places. Podbean, Podcast Addict, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, probably just about any place. Just type in Unavoidable Adventures in Aging, and we will pop up, which is wonderful. Once you're there, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share with your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at unavoidableaging@gmail.com. We do have a website. We have high hopes, so keep checking. Unavoidable.life.
Yes. Oh, and I guess we haven't mentioned either that Shelli's going to try to get us hooked up to get a better things going on Facebook and to get us on Instagram.
Instagram, yes.
So I think she's going to help us work on that.
Yeah,
So-
we need all the help we can
Yes,
get.
we do. Yes, we do. All right.
Okay.
Until next time, enjoy your life, laugh at yourself, and remember,
You're
not
knucking
knucking
butts.
you're just aging. Yes,
Okay,
that is true.
Fajitas. Chicken fajitas
chicken
tonight.
fajitas, yes, yes. And really good peachy things, whatever
Peachy
you're going to call
vodka
them.
things. We'll
Yeah.
put a name to it. We just don't know.
Yeah, good. Sounds good.
Great.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.